Hey everyone, it's Rose from Carry Them, and I am going to answer a question that I come across all the time that I think needs to be answered once and for all, and just let it be. Alright, how do you justify the purchase of a very expensive wrap? Well, I don't justify anything. To start with, I don't think that it's necessary to justify how you spend your money, because it's your money and you do what you want. But if we get past that, I'll ask you the similar questions that will hopefully put it into perspective for you. How do you justify buying that really expensive car? How do you justify buying an expensive meal at a restaurant? How do you justify buying an expensive pair of shoes? How do you justify buying anything that isn't necessary? I mean, you don't justify it, you do it because it's about quality of life. And if you enjoy something that a lot of people do, I mean, I'm talking to people who baby wear right now. So if you enjoy the intricacies of the wraps and, you know, the qualities within them, I think that it just makes sense that you might spend more money than necessary on a woven wrap. Not all woven wraps are very expensive. Some of the best ones are really, really good, affordable prices. Others are more exclusive, less are made, more of a collector's item, so they're going to cost more on the market. Not necessarily at retail, but on the market they're going to be valued as more because they're more sought after. They're just maybe more beautiful than to a select group of people that really want it, and the price will go up. Another thing to keep in mind for the prices themselves, well, fabric is very expensive. If you were to go into a fabric store and you found, or, you know, really well-made pieces of cloth that you can, you know, for sewing, you would be looking at maybe even pricier than the wraps themselves on the market. Because, let's be honest, good fabric is not cheap. So, it's a pricey thing, period. It's not like going into Walmart where you buy a $10 shirt and it's made from crummy cotton and it's gonna fall apart at any minute, you know. This is really high quality material. Another thing that ups the price on these wraps is the blends, for example, wool or cashmere or silk. These are all things that are more expensive to produce, especially ethically. And I know that a lot of wrap brands, if not all wrap brands, are ethically made because it's very important to wear your baby in fabric that is not oozing with, you know, toxic dye. You want something that is guaranteed that your baby is not going to die or get sick or be poisoned if they happen to like lick it, you know. So that's another thing. It's a quality product, so it's going to be more expensive, and people who baby wear as a collector will probably, you know, spend a little bit more money. Now, I don't want to come off as like, you know, your question is necessarily stupid, because it isn't. When you're a beginner baby wearer and you go into, say, the baby wearing swap or, you know, whatever, and you see all these wraps and you're like, oh my god, that's really expensive. I can't afford that. You know what? They are expensive, and if you're on a budget, you know, it happens, and you can't necessarily buy those really pretty wraps. Or what you could do is maybe, you know, save up for a while and then you can purchase a really special wrap if you want to. But it isn't necessary, and if it's not your priority, you really don't need to do it. Hopefully sleeping and I'm kind of waking him up. But what is important to one person isn't necessarily important to the other. For example, I have no hair. Getting my hair styled does not matter to me, whereas some people like really value going to the salon and getting a beautiful color, and as much as I admire that, you know, I can look at nice hair and be like, oh, that's really nice hair. I don't give a crap, it doesn't matter to me. And that's valid too, you know, that's just not a part of my lifestyle. And I think it's important, and when I think of it this way, I would never walk up to a person who, you know, spent a lot of money on their hair or their nails or whatever and say, how do you justify that? How do you spend all that money on that? You know, you would never do that because it's not your business and it's not your hair and it's not your, you know, I might say I don't understand that, but you're another person, so it's not my business. You know, I think that there's a measure of judgment for people who make different decisions than yourself. And like, I get it, I understand the shock of the prices. I mean, come on. Some are very expensive, but there's a beautiful thing about it, which is basically you just don't have to buy it. You know? I mean, you can look at it, sometimes you see wraps that are like way triple, quadruple over retail, and you're like, no. No. But it would be very rude for you to say, what are you doing over there with your prices? Because you don't know what they paid for that, you know? You don't know. Like, you really don't know. I mean, you can think it, go ahead, but just scroll away, and there will be a lot less pain for you, and maybe even better karma for you, if you just let it be, right? I don't know. I'm kind of just babbling now. I think that questioning other people's decision and choices for what they buy and what they don't buy isn't necessarily in good taste. That's what I'm trying to say. It's different if you ask it in a different way, and it's just like, why are these so expensive? Instead of, how do you justify it? Because then it becomes personal, you know what I mean? You're asking a personal question. How do you justify what you're buying? If you just said, why are these priced so high? I don't understand. Then people are going to be like, well, here you go. Instead of, why the heck are you judging me right now? You know? Well, I'm babbling. I think I've answered the question. I mean this all with complete respect. I get it. You have to learn, you know, the ways, the baby wearing and the fabrics and things like that. I hope this was helpful for you, and yeah, I hope you have a great day.